Hello again. How are you? I'm just out to get some shopping. Somebody's left some books out again. Every day there are books on this bench. Somebody must be emptying out their bookcases while they're at home and leaving anything they don't want here for people to take. You may have noticed some out of the ordinary things over the past few weeks. I often get ideas when I'm out on my bicycle and I spot something a little unusual. I wonder what Peter, Finty and Gaspard would make of these. Peter and Gaspard were out for a walk. On a bench in the square, Gaspard noticed something unusual. "Somebody's forgotten their books," he said to Peter. "Not forgotten," said Peter. "They belong to Colin. Colin lives over there. Every day Colin leaves his books out for people to take. Colin worked in the theatre. These are his heroes: Margot Fontaine, Rudolph Nureyev, Ninette de Valois. They were dancers," he explained, and did a sort of pirouette. Just then, Finty arrived and looked strangely at Peter, who was still holding his pose. "What is he doing?" she asked Gaspard. "Peter's being a dancer. Somebody's left their books out." "But it's going to rain," said Finty. "I was just along the canal and I heard the men on the floating bookshop talking about the weather." "Don't talk rot," said Peter. "On a sunny day like this, if it rains, I'll eat my—" Just then, there was an almighty crack from the sky and psht, down came the rain. "My fur will get ruined," wailed Peter, and he dived under a bench. "Come back to mine," said Finty. "But what about the books?" said Gaspard. "They'll get soaked." Peter waved a damp paw from under the bench at the books. "Bye-bye, Rudolph. Bye-bye, Margot. Bye-bye, Ninette." "I've got an idea," said Finty. Why don't you finish the story? What was Finty's idea? Email me your endings and we'll share some of them next time. Oscar and Joshua live in a house over there and they've found a fox living in their garden that they've called Gaspard.
Hello, I'm Oscar. This is my little brother Joshua.
What have you found there?
Gaspard's footprint.
Foxy footprints on your table.
Do you want to see the Gaspard den?
Yes, please. That's just the sort of place where a fox would make its den. It looks very well hidden.
Little.
Who lives down there?
Gaspard the fox.
Is there anything you'd like to know about them, boys?
What do foxes eat?
That's a very good question. Without us humans around, foxes would eat smaller mammals like mice and rats, and insects like worms and snails. Some humans like eating snails as well. But in a city, foxes don't really have to look very far for food because there's so much left lying around, so we don't need to feed them.
How many foxes live in their dens?
A female fox, called a vixen, might have 5 or 6 cubs, so it could be quite crowded down there.
Goodbye. See you later.
Bye, Oscar and Joshua. How exciting that they've a fox living in their garden. Well, now I really must get on with my shopping before it rains. There's the library. There's a note on the door. The library's closed, of course. I wonder how people are coping. I know who'll know. Phyllis. She's one of the librarians. I'll give her a call.
Hello, Zeb.
Hello, Phyllis. It's such a shame the library has had to close.
I know, it is a shame, but hopefully they'll be open again soon.
Even though the building's had to close, are there any books or activities we can get online?
Yes, there are quite a few. So if you go onto your library's website, it will guide you towards the app that you can download onto a device if you have one, where you can read books and also listen to books. So you've got audio books as well for adults and also for children.
That sounds great.
I'd also like to tell you about access to comics and magazines. And following on from your wonderful craft the other day with making a Gaspard with a loo roll, you know, you can use old kitchen roll tubes, tin foil, cereal packets. There's lots of stuff you can use around the house to make lots of things from the magazines.
And you can send pictures of your foxy crafts to the Gaspard the Fox website.
Oh, that would be marvellous.
Phyllis, is it true that librarians spend all their time telling people to be quiet?
No, it isn't. We do sometimes have to, if we have overexcited classes in, for example.
So when people can access books and magazines online, what's special about coming to a library?
There are still people who do like the feel of a physical book. I have to confess I'm one of them.
And you can't use an old postcard as a bookmark on a tablet or computer.
That's very true. And also it doesn't need charging, which is wonderful. As long as you've got decent light, you can read a book anywhere.
I used to read under my duvet with a torch when I was supposed to be asleep.
Did you? So did I. Oh, when we're naughty.
What was your favourite picture book when you were little?
My favourite picture book is Green Eggs and Ham, because when I was 6, that was the first book that I learnt to read by myself.
I love Dr. Seuss too. Well, thanks so much for chatting to me, Phyllis. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. By the way, say hello to Gaspard.
I will. Bye-bye. Now, I really must get my shopping or there's going to be a long queue. Oh, just as I feared. Everyone wants to get their shopping at the same time. We're having to stand 2 meters apart because of coronavirus. That's what the yellow and black stripy tape is for on the floor, to show us where to stand. But it looks like I can move up 1 space.
Stay back 2 meters, please.
Hello, Clementine.
Who? Oh, hi, Zeb. How did you know it was me? I'm in disguise.
Why are you in disguise?
Well, I don't normally go out shopping myself because, well, my fans all demand a photograph. But I needed to pop out and get some quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yes, quinoa. And some honey to make my famous honey buns.
Oh, I can help you there. One of my kind neighbours left me a jar on my doorstep this morning. You can use that.
Thanks, Zeb. I better get changed. To make my famous honey buns, the most important ingredient you need is a grown-up, because they're going to use the cooker for you. You also need 2 tablespoonfuls of honey, 14 tablespoonfuls of crispy rice cereal, and 2 tablespoonfuls of peanut butter. Ooh, nut allergy warning. The utensils you'll need are a saucepan, a tablespoon, a teaspoon, and some of those paper bun cases. Now the first thing to do is measure 2 tablespoons of honey into the saucepan, 1 tablespoon, and 2 tablespoons of lovely runny honey.
Remember not to lick the spoon just yet because you're still cooking with it.
Yes, don't lick the spoon, that would be icky. Now, get a grown-up to take the saucepan over to the cooker and bring the honey up to boiling point. Remember, that's very hot, so grown-ups only. Hey, grown-up, can you help me, please?
Yes, all right.
Onto the cooker and stir till it's boiling.
Like this.
Perfect. It'll be bubbling away. Now leave the honey to cool for about 1 minute, then get the grown-up to bring the saucepan back onto your work surface. You might want to put down a heat pad because it's still going to be hot. This is the fun part. Stir the peanut butter into the honey till it's all smooth and gloopy like this.
Remember, it's still not time to lick the spoon yet.
You keep taking the words right out of my mouth, Zeb. Add in the 14 tablespoons of crispy rice cereal. Stir it carefully because you don't want to break up all the little bits of rice. There. Now it's time to put the mixture into the paper cases.
Can I help?
Yes, please. You can use a tablespoon to scoop the mixture out of the pan and a teaspoon to help slide the mixture into the paper bun case, like Zeb is doing.
What if you don't have any paper bun cases, Clem?
Well, Zeb, you can just put little blobs of the mixture onto a plate or tray. Just put down some grease-proof paper first so the buns don't stick. And you'll end up with something like this. Now comes the most difficult part.
What's that?
Well, you should really put them in the fridge for about an hour to set.
The good thing is, it's definitely time to lick the spoon.
Good point. Oh, Zeb, would you like one of my honey buns?
Yes, please. That means I don't need to bother going into the shop. Can I take it with me, though? Only I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Of course.
Good luck getting your quinoa. Bye, Clementine.
Quinoa. Bye-bye, Zeb. Now, would anyone like to help with the washing up? Typical. Now I'd like to thank everyone who sent in their pom-pom puppets. Alicia has mixed different coloured wools to make her pom-poms. I think blending the colours gives a very subtle result. And I love the eyelashes. Talking of colours, Elsie and Edie have created wonderful rainbow-coloured foxes. They really made me smile. Rebecca has saved time and made just one pom-pom. She's made a baby fox or a fox cub. Isn't he cute? Aryan and Cavi have closely matched Gaspard's lovely red-coloured fur. I think the face looks just like Gaspard too. And the winner is Laurie. I think he's the one in the middle. Laurie even made a video of his puppet. I think you'll agree, it moves in a very sinuous way, just like a real fox. Some Gaspard goodies will be in the post to Laurie. Bye-bye.
Peter the Cat's Big Word. My big word is quandary, pronounced quandary. It means a difficult decision. You might say, I'm in a quandary. Shall I have tuna or salmon for tea? Thank you. That was Peter the Cat's Big Word.
And here we are at the hole in the fence that leads to Gaspard's Den. I wonder who's in Gaspard's Den today.
It's Cleo!
Hello, Zeb.
Oh, Cleo, I have a present for you. Catch!
A honey bun. I'll have that later with a cup of tea. Hello, I'm Cleo, and the character Honey in Gaspard's Den show was based on me. Like Honey, I'm an actor, and I get to play all sorts of different characters. Today, I'm going to be a groovy gran and read you a poem I've written about them. Sometimes when you play a character, it helps to wear a costume. Like this. My groovy gran is called Mama C. I think she needs a wig. Let's see. No. I think I'll try this. I've got the best granny, Ian said. You should taste her treacle tart and her homemade bread. She jogs every morning around the zoo. She dabbles in Brick Lane and dyes her hair blue. Well, Ruby said, that may be true, but my gran's the grooviest. You should watch her boogaloo. She's hip, she's cool, she's really great, and she juggles with 3 Yorkshire puddings on a plate. Zoe said, sorry guys to disagree. The grooviest gran belongs to me. She danced in Bombay as a prima ballerina. Now she can-cans round her kitchen with a concertina. My gran, said Lucy, is the loudest in the land. She used to play the tuba in a girls' brass band. Now she plays the bagpipes in her garden once a week, sings soprano to the slugs, and's grown a giant leek. Aha, said Rupert, his face all aglow. My gran's the grooviest. Oh, didn't you know? She wears polka dot tights and rock and rolls like heaven. She rides a motorbike and she's 77. All the grands met up for a celebration do. They danced, sang, played music till the clock struck 2. And when the children got together the following day, they said, 3 cheers for all our groovy grands. Hip, 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 hooray! Do you have a groovy gran or grandpa? Why don't you draw a picture of them? And if you can send it in to Gaspard's website, and you can win this book. And it's signed by me, Zeb, and a paw print of Gaspard. Whoops. There. Now I'm going to have my honey bun and a nice cup of tea. Goodbye.
Thanks, Cleo. Well, there's lots you could do over the next few days. You could finish our story about the books in the rain. You could find out what your local library has to offer online. You could make Clementine's honey buns, or you could draw a picture of a groovy gran for the chance to win a signed book. Whatever you do, keep safe. Bye for now. If you'd like to hear the Gaspard audiobooks, just ask your smart speaker for Gaspard the Fox or Gaspard Best in Show.
Has it finished? Oh, good. I can have my salmon now.